Hi guys, if you haven't joined my TikTok, it's called EE Cow. And today we're watching the 15 of the most expensive floating houses in the world. Can't you believe 15? What's gonna be the first one? It's gonna be so cool. I'm gonna skip through the intro. I can't really make my own videos because I can't find. Okay. Alright. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Number 15. $5.5 million floating mansion in Miami. Miami, as we all know, is a seriously classy place. Why would you ever want to leave? You've got your classy house and you're on South Beach, but you know that the Caribbean is right there, and all you need to do is take your home out of park and start floating your way over there. So that's exactly what you do. All you need is to have bought one of these, a yacht house. This example is known as the Ark-Up, and most of the time it sits at 400 Alton Road on Miami's South Beach. This huge modernist villa has 4 bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms, in case you ever need to take half a bath, or 4.5 baths. Maybe not such a bad idea if you spent the previous night in one of Miami's nightclubs. It also has an extendable deck, so you can have all of your buddies over, and a giant kitchen too. Best of all, the whole thing is solar powered, which down in the Sunshine State seems like a pretty smart move. And when you're in the mood to just cast off out to sea, then that is exactly what you are able to do, because this giant home doubles as a yacht. It may not be the most hydrodynamic thing out there, but it gives you the freedom to go wherever you want in the world. Well, on water at least. No mansions with wheels or legs on the market just yet.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face.
That centipede will be popping off mine. A spider and a centipede will come on you. See how creepy this is? It's even the spider,
time for the rare
but it'll
topic.
eat you
Way
too.
out in the most obscure part of the Pacific Ocean, one pilot decided to take an extra long detour on his way home, and spotted this crazy vessel. Rumor has it that it belongs to an evil mastermind who has been living in this floating lair since back in the 80s, waiting for his moment to call the president and demand $1 million, or he'll launch nuclear weapons from the top of the castle he's built on this converted aircraft carrier. How did he get a hold of an aircraft carrier? What crazy architect was able to convert it into this wild floating home? And do you think it was expensive to build? Maybe that's why he needs that $1 million. Anyways, comment down below with the hashtag #RareTopic and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. Let's move on to the next one. Number 14. Floating Villa in Dubai. Just off the coast of Dubai is a small archipelago of islands known as the World Islands. These man-made islands are in the shape of a world map and are made of sand dredged up from the shallow waters surrounding Dubai. The islands offer attractions and entertainments considered to be world's first, such as the first underwater hotel with a gym and spa, the first dedicated wedding hotel, the first street with artificial rain, the first floating and underwater living experience, and the world's first outdoor snow plaza. If you want to visit all this crazy stuff, then you need to be mobile, and so a smart investment would be one of the floating seahorse villas which sit near jetties just off many of the islands. These floating villas will allow you to tour around the islands at your leisure. They are 4,000 square feet and have a special underwater viewing deck, which allows you unique views of the coral reefs with high-tech controls and even outdoor air conditioning, which sounds like it might not be too healthy for the coral reefs, so take a look at those first before you crank up the AC for the entire outdoors. Anyway, one of these floating seahorses will set you back a mere $20 million, so start saving now. Number 3.
Bruh, $20 million just for the 20 feet long. Wait, 20 million, 20 feet long. It's copying the 20 feet long with the 20 million. 20 and 20. Oh my gosh, guys.
13.
It's just
Bravia
so much.
Queen Floating House. Bravia Queen Floating House.
Wow.
Now we're heading to actual
What?
Europe
I
and the
I didn't
Dusseldorf
know
Boat
that
Show in Germany,
stores-
where Slovenian company Bravia Home
look,
released
it's
their
on
latest
land.
and greatest floating
Is it
home
on
offering
land
in
and water?
2020. Known as the
That is-
Bravia Queen
that is
Floating
so
House,
weird.
this is a pretty
Oh,
impressive
God.
floating house that will allow you
I
to tour
want
the
that.
less-known coasts of
I didn't know
Slovenia,
that
home
was
to the
the
world's
two-
tallest people, to Laibach, the
two
only
floor.
Western band to play
That
North
actually looks
Korea,
so good.
and ironically, the oldest wheel ever discovered. So they
Wow.
invented the wheel, but now Slovenians don't want to use it because they would rather just sail their homes around in the waters near their cool little country. And who
Yeah.
can blame them? They certainly look beautiful and more relaxed than
Yeah,
the
they do.
overcrowded beaches
I
of
just
Italy or
wanna
Spain.
relax on my
Anyway,
yacht.
you don't need to worry about that
No
if you
fair.
have a Bravia
I'm gonna
Queen, because you can use your own roof
I
as a
am
bench.
pushing
There's
my
plenty of
head.
luxuries aboard,
The
including
yacht.
a seating area with a sofa,
The
a
literal
satellite
yacht.
flat screen TV, Blu-ray player, a
And then
fully
there's
equipped
my
kitchen,
head.
and a
And
private
there's a
bathroom
better yacht
with a
in
hairdryer and
my head
free
again.
toiletries. Is it expensive? Hell yeah. But it doesn't
Oh,
matter,
yeah,
as
hell
these
yeah.
floating homes even come with their
Oh, I
own
bet it is
casino,
so
you can just
expensive.
win all the money you spent on it back from your friends.
Yes.
Sweet.
Maybe you
Number
can
12.
buy your friends
Wave
happiness.
Out in
With this.
Portland, Oregon, they had to
What?
make a floating
That
home
is a
that
big
was organic.
house.
They just had to,
What?
and so they did. This is the City of Roses offering to the world of crazy expensive floating homes. A floating
Wow.
home made of organic wood, and it's got some swooping
Organic
curving
wood?
design, which
I
makes it
think
look
that's
like a wooden cave. The interior of this one is pretty nice, I have to
It's
say. And the
modern.
crazy design has the added
Oh.
feature of allowing in a lot more light than usual, since it is
Yeah.
open at both
Oh
ends.
my gosh,
Known
that's
as the
some
Fennel
good
residence,
window
here's what the
views.
designers
Oh
have
my
to
gosh,
say
that's
about
a
it.
good
The Fennel
kitchen.
residence presented a unique challenge as the
How are they
site
even
was
gonna
on
move
the
that? Is that the
Willamette River,
garage?
as
Oh,
opposed
never
to
mind.
by
They
the
can move
river.
it.
The project is focused on
Wow.
the poetry of the ripples and contours of the river, its never-ending
Yeah.
flow, the view, and the interrelationship concerning the play of the sun
Our
and
chance?
moon.
That's the show
Yeah,
is here.
they're from
But-
Portland, alright. How much will this
She's probably watching
2,300-foot
Press
square
play,
floating
my
home
God.
cost? That remains a mystery, but it's
Oh.
fair to say that it probably isn't gonna be cheap. Number 11. $12
$11.
million
It is
floating
not
house.
cheap.
If wood isn't
the
your
wood was
thing,
not
then
cheap.
there's plenty
This
of other options
one
out there. This
probably
large block
is
of what looks
expensive.
like brushed
You see
steel, for
how good
example,
the wood
it kinda
is?
looks like a jail from Blade Runner 2049, but maybe
Yeah,
that's
it
just
looks
what you
like a
want, a
jail.
place where you can float very slowly away from any crazed replicants who might be
Oh my
chasing
gosh,
you
that's a
down,
yacht,
and
that's
the
a yacht,
inside
right
is nice
beside
and
it.
dark and filled with that charming brown and gray
Oh my
Soviet
gosh,
era
that
cruise
is a
ship vibe.
big boat.
The boat's draft is 36 inches, and it can cruise the seas at a sedentary 5 knots. It
Wait,
has 8,000
it's-
square feet
I
of living
think
space.
it's,
It is currently
lake
on sale
that,
at Suncrest Boat Show
that
in
can go
Sarasota,
on.
Florida.
I think it
All
can
you'll
go
be needing
up
is a
or
checkbook.
down. Whoa.
This
That
is
is huge.
$12 million in your bank account, and a ton of bad taste, and this thing could be all yours to keep. However, I'm not sure if that price includes having a dude in a white polo standing with his fingertips together and smiling
Yeah.
insanely at nothing all the time or not.
Yeah,
but
you
maybe they'll
probably,
throw in a creepy salesman or two if you pay
If
cash.
you buy that,
Number
you're
10.
probably not.
Anthenia.
Oh my gosh, that
In the
looks like a
French
spaceship,
Riviera,
like the
locals
alien.
from the town of
He's
Villefranche-sur-Mer
this
were
video.
starting to believe that aliens had finally landed
Yay.
when they first caught sight of Anthenia. But it turns out that it
Oh
is
my
not
gosh.
a flying
Wait.
saucer, more like a
There's
floating
invented
saucer. Built by the
a
Marcel
floating
space architect
saucer,
Jean-Michel
like they crash
Ducanel,
into the
Anthenia is a pretty
Wait.
crazy looking floating house.
That's that picking them up.
Named for the
It
Greek
has
word for
stuff in it,
blossom,
though.
Anthenia was
What?
in design for 10 years
Wait,
and
when you
then
walk
took 5
around,
years
it
to build.
spins.
After Ducanel, finally
my
managed to
gosh.
raise funds from a Swiss investor group. Ducanel said of his project, "It's a question of developing a new form
What
of
is
living
that?
on the sea,
That blur?
which is aimed at everybody who wants to live on the sea without the inconveniences that a boat has. This eco-friendly home can also withstand pretty much everything the sea has to throw at it, and also has a glass bottom for
What?
underwater viewing when you decide to just
Whoa.
ride your house up to a nearby coral reef. And the environmental impact has all been thought through on this boat, according to Ducanel, who says,
What?
"We work with hotels and resorts
What
in over 40
happens
countries,
if a
and we
shark
specialize
attacks
in
it?
waterfront developments.
Like
So that
Blue,
would be a
where
resort
they
on a
can
beach, in a
comes up
lagoon, in a
and-
bay, and we see this as a great advancement in terms of some place to stay on a coral
He's still eating up
reef in Fiji, for an ecological standpoint in terms of not damaging the coral or the island, giving people the chance to stay close to nature. Number
Oh.
9. West
Now
Lake
the
Floating
alien's
Home.
asleep.
Do you have $965,000 in your pocket? Do you? Exactly that amount? Okay, awesome. Now
Oh
go
my
and buy
gosh.
a West Lake Floating Home, because
Now
that's
you
what it's gonna
actually
cost
get
you.
a
If you
floating
live
home.
near Seattle,
Those
then
are
you could pack up
floating
everything you
actual
own
homes.
and just throw it all
You
into
just
this
take
amazing
one.
floating home, and chug
When
out
you
into the
just-
Pacific to live
when
with the
you
killer
think that you
whales
just
and salmon and
snag one
whatever
of
else is out there. I guess the Kraken.
To
You
have a
probably
house
don't want to run
on
into the
water.
Kraken, given that it's a giant sea
you
monster,
get to
but you
skip
might
every
just feel
time.
extra protected in your floating home. It looks like it might be kind of
What?
chewy and difficult for a sea monster to eat, so maybe they'll wait for something a little, easier to digest, like an oil tanker or something. As you can see in this video, this crazy house has everything: tables, chairs, kitchen, bed, carpet, and what looks like a wood-burning stove.
Don't forget
Although
about the
if you
carpet.
run out of firewood in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, that could be a problem. Not too many forests out there. Number 8. Modern
Oh, now he's
floating
gonna
home.
blast her. Oh no, he's
Given
trying to
that
shoot
the
her.
entire country is surrounded by
Oh,
water,
yeah.
and
Oh my
that
gosh,
they were
the
literally
little
the greatest
duckies.
sea merchants, sailors, and pirates of
Look
all
at that.
time, it's a little
Houses.
surprising
What?
that the UK
That
has
house is in
taken
a
so
swamp,
long
though.
to launch its first
Isn't
floating
it
home.
Canada?
But the day has finally come, and the entire nation was in
Oh,
a
it
state of
counts as
frenzy
water,
when it
though.
heard that Baca
So it
Architects
counts
of
as a
London
floating
had
house.
completed Britain's first floating house. Given
Yeah.
the incredibly
Wow.
original name of Floating
That is
Home,
modern.
this boxy dwelling can be
What?
found floating up and down the Chichester Canal.
Why does
Space
it have
and
a
luxury
door?
were the watchwords
A
for the
sliding
designer,
door.
and the
But
other
what
main
happens if
objective
you
was to
jump
make
in
sure that
through
there
the
was
sliding
plenty
door?
of available light. It has
crocodile
an
might
open
come
plan
in.
living space
Keep that
with a
sliding
kitchen
door
and
open.
dining area,
Oh.
along with one large window which allows you to see out onto the canal around you. These homes are not only practical and affordable, but create a sense of sanctuary by living on water, which is a unique experience in most cities, said the designer. The idea is to appeal to urban Londoners and encourage the denizens of the overcrowded and expensive city to make use of what the company is calling blue field space, or to any normal person, water. Many of these homes will be built, and the owners will be free to navigate London's river, canals, marinas, and maybe sewers. Or maybe not the last one. Number 7.
Oh, now
J
he's got
Floating
angel
Home.
wings. He's going
Now we are
heaven.
moving on to the
Oh.
J Floating Home. This is a 700 square foot floating home, which operates
That is
entirely off the
cool.
grid with full solar power. So you can just head out to the ocean and hope there's plenty of sun available. But that's
There's
not
a
all,
dock on
as it
it?
also boasts
Even
a
though
pellet
you can
stove
go to
and
the dock,
composting
there's a
toilet,
dock
and
on
an
it?
evaporation gray water system,
Whoa.
all of which means that nothing
Oh,
gets
never
thrown
mind.
into the sea as waste. Buying
Is
this
that
boat
dock
will
on
make
it?
you into the new Captain
I don't
Planet.
know.
Of course, it has the standard
Whoa,
opening plain
modern,
concept
modern.
kitchen, which
Watch
you can
out,
show
watch
off
out,
to all
modern.
your Lodabaugh
Watch out,
friends,
watch out,
because
modern.
these days using walls to separate your kitchen from other rooms means you are some kind of illiterate
Classic.
peasant. It
Watch out,
also
watch
has
out.
living and dining space, a master bedroom, and bathroom on the main floor, 2 bedrooms on the
Wow.
second floor, and a
That is a
pretty
nice
sweet
bed.
viewing deck
I
which
see it.
gives
It's
a
like
full
a
360-degree
bed.
view of the
What?
endless ocean.
It
So you
has
can spot any pirates on the horizon and make a quick getaway. This is not the product of some
think
major
it's,
design company, however, but some dude named
Oh, look
Jay,
at that.
who spent 4 years building it, and
4
could not be happier.
years?
Number 6. A floating
yep.
home masterpiece.
Yep.
Here's another floating home, which the owner decided to name Floating Home. Seriously, no one wanted to call their floating home the Death Star, Floaty McFloathouse, even K Largo. Guess not. Well, this floaty little house sits on Lake Union in Washington State, and the lake is entirely within the city limits of Seattle. One cool thing about Lake Union is that it is a glacial lake, which was dug 12,000 years ago by the Vashon Glacier. The native Duwamish people called it Small Lake because it's a kinda small lake. Have the Duwamish been getting into naming floating homes by chance? Anyway, as you might imagine, this small lake surrounded by a massive urban area is kinda crowded at times, but you can muscle your way to the best spot on Lake Union with your giant and expensive house. In the press release for this floating home, the vendor used the word
Okay, I'm back. All my dogs
four
are trying to
times
push
and
open
about
the
a quarter of
door.
a page of text. So you can
I only
maybe
got
just
one
use it as some
egg,
kind of
because it really
huge
hurts
cubic
myself.
floating
That's
taser to stun anything that crosses your path. You see why I wanted to call it the Death Star now? Number 5.
Wait,
Go Friday
he's
floating
got his
house.
alien ship.
Go Friday is a Portugal-based design house, which was formed by students at
that
Coimbra
doesn't
University.
really
These
look
floating
like a
home
house.
experts have now released their
Doesn't really
masterpiece,
look like
known
a
as Floatwing.
house, man.
This
This
is a
looks like
prefab,
a-
self-sustaining
like
floating home
a
that comes
little
with a modular design option,
surfing
so you
thing
can get
where you
just
go
a
out
little
and surf.
studio version, or go
There's
for the
a-
Big Daddy 3-bed mansion
Big
on
Daddy.
water. The Portuguese
Oh,
are another
I
nation
just call
with an
that man
incredible
Big
maritime
Daddy.
history, being the first European explorers to reach many parts of the world, ahead of their rivals from Holland, Spain, England, and France. Nowadays, the Portuguese Navy isn't quite so formidable as it was, but the
What?
Atlantic nation might be on the verge of building a huge fleet of luxury floating homes.
What?
Imagine that
Oh my
appearing on
gosh,
the horizon
big
as
luxury
you look through
floating
your
homes.
telescope. The
So
float
just
wing
a
has 2
normal boat,
outboard motors,
we
which
just
can
sell
power
our
this
house.
thing along at a speed of 3
Every day
knots,
we just
which
go
isn't
to our
like
floating
crazy
house,
fast,
we
but probably
float to a
still
huge
faster than your house can go on water.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more, just from this app on my phone.
No sponsors
The fun-loving
today.
Portuguese
But every
didn't forget to include a wine cellar, along with other amenities such as a fully equipped kitchen, heat pump, and AC generator. Number
AC
4.
generator?
Departure 1.
He just teleported.
Now it's time for a dose of German design and efficiency. This is the Departure 1, and it is a mixed caravan
kinda
and
looks like a
boat,
tree.
which will cost you a
thought
cool
it would be
$67,000.
like a
The Departure 1 offers a camping with no
Thought we were
limits
doing
experience,
drinks now.
since you can drive right up to the water and then just keep going in. It has a 50 HP outboard engine to get things moving and 5 sleeping places. It also promises the most of modern technology in every aspect of the build, from motor to microwave. It also has a panorama front viewing window, so you can see where you are
What?
driving.
That is
This
a
is super important on
big
both
boat.
the road and the water,
I'd say
because,
the other
you know,
one
crashes and
was
stuff.
fun,
You
but
don't
this
want to be
one
crashing your
looks kinda cool. It
expensive
looks
new
like a
floating home
train.
into anything, if you can
Ooh,
avoid it. And
uh,
window technology is there to help
software.
us with that. Imagine a world without glass. That'd be crazy. Let's just be thankful for the guy or gal who once looked at a big heap of sand and said, I could turn that into a window, no problemo. This self-sufficient home can travel for up to 2 days without having to take on extra power and water supplies, so you can be free as a bird for 48 hours anyway. Number 3. Nautilus houseboats. Nautilus houseboats are named for the marine mollusks that their design is inspired by. The idea is that the spiral shell design will make this houseboat fit seamlessly with the natural world around it when it is out on the water. The founder of Nautilus Houseboats, Andreas Hoffman, could not find the kind of houseboat he was looking for, so he decided to just go ahead and design and build his own. So the Nautilus was born. Luckily, Andreas was already a trained carpenter as well as a skilled
A trained
architect,
carpenter?
sailor, and
Wow.
windsurfer. A pretty much perfect mix of skills for a houseboat builder. The design is also part of the very chic trend for mid-century modern style furnishings, giving this boat a
Modern
stylish
style.
air
I
of
told you they like
1930s,
modern.
and also with reference to classic art and literature. This is a pretty nice looking boat, I have to admit, but I'm not so sure about those lime green and brown sofas. Still, it comes in a mini and a maxi size, with the bigger model having room to sleep 6 people. Number 2. Blue Turtle.
He's using
Blue Turtle is
mine.
a floating home from New Zealand.
Blue Turtle?
That's
That
right,
is a cool
you can now
Blue
float your
Turtle.
way around the perimeter of Middle-earth and watch the men, wizards, orcs, elves, and all the rest fight to the death from your
Fight to the
open-plan
death.
kitchen on this neat floating
Okay,
home.
let's fight
It's
to
got
the
a
death.
pretty sweet
Hurrah,
blue and
humans,
wood color
don't
scheme
beat
with an
orcs,
understated white
elves,
interior that feels
and
like a really
fairies.
classic
Hurrah!
nautical theme. This is a pretty nice home, and its owners describe living in it as a dream come true, being able to moor up in the docks at Auckland whenever they need access to the town. And when they've had enough of that, they can just disappear out into the waters to wherever they want to go.
Yeah,
According to
just
them, the Blue
disappear,
Turtle
I
has
guess.
2 bedrooms, a spacious
Turtle.
bathroom, and enjoys a wonderful open-plan kitchen, dining and living space upstairs, all with wraparound decks for amazing interior/outdoor living. Number 1. Catherine
What's the
and
number
Wayne's
one?
Floating House.
Oh my
Floating
god.
Cove is a man-made floating
is a
island which is
Chinese
home to
island?
Catherine and Wayne out in Tofino, British Columbia,
but it
Canada.
looks-
It is also
it
where they
looks like
began
a
building
house.
their small floating home back in
that's a
1992.
home?
The materials they used were pieces of wood which washed ashore onto their island.
But
And
they're
they
so
have been
old!
slowly adding to it
Oh
ever
my
since.
gosh,
Now
that
it
is
has
so
greenhouses,
cool.
a dance
They
floor,
built
and
all
other
that?
buildings,
And it's a
which all
floating
means the
house?
couple can live off the grid and do their part to protect the environment.
What?
Nearby fish farms often discard things into the water, so the couple have
Whoa,
been able to
boy.
salvage many items which have been important to their project over the years.
that's my
Their
dog.
power sources include solar panels,
Bubba.
a generator, propane, and firewood.
Bubba.
They also have a
Keep
microbial
puppy
wastewater
eyes.
system, which helps
Yeah.
them to keep everything clean. The pair also
Ah,
produce works of
Bubba.
art, which they then
Bubba.
sell in their floating gallery, which
Oh,
is
hi,
pretty
Bubba.
cool. Do you want to live in an expensive floating home? Are you
Well, do you want to live in an expensive home? I do, surely. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave the notification bell. Leave a comment if you have another video idea. I'm still using those. And I would say
going to
that if you're going on a trip, buy that.